Testing, 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 testing. You only got one bid.
Oh,
Anyway, but you don't have to accept it. You can, you cannot. You don't have to.
but not right now.
No,
That can be another day that you accept it.
you can just that you're gonna consider it, and then you will call them to contact them to talk about it, not to accept it.
I wonder if it's higher than the other one. Oh my God.
I hope not.
Hope.
I get stuck with this,
doubt it'll be cheaper.
at the last minute.
8 o'clock.
Okay. It's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay. Okay, line item number 3, public testimony. Anybody not on the agenda can appear before the court at this time.
Good morning, Commissioners, Sheriff Bueno. Just to inform you that we have 75 inmates. We have 8 females and 5 have been transferred to B County Jail. That's what we're operating on right now. We've had several people come down with COVID-19 in the jail, as well as here at the office. But everything's within normal limits. They should be coming back to work soon. Received a letter of compliment from a citizen, Rebecca Smith, out of San Antonio, to compliment one of the officers who assisted her with her missing brother. Also working very closely with Commissioner Margie Gonzalez and the project that we started planning on about 6 months ago. We are at about 70% into it. We should be getting our piece of equipment from Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office this week. Thank you for your assistance on that, Commissioner Gonzalez. The property looks good and appears that we're going to have real good results of our crack house operation that we had there. We've got several reports that have been submitted. We're also waiting for an autopsy report of the last individual that was found dead in that building. However, we're working closely with your staff and hopefully we'll be there by Thursday. I know that Captain Barrera and another investigator will be going to the valley to pick up this equipment that will be placed at that location, as well as we'll be planning a meeting with the Fair Association to also have this piece of equipment utilized at the fairground. That's all we have for today.
Thank you, Sheriff. Anybody else?
I just want to say that we have scheduled to have a back-to-school bash. I know that the kids are getting some school supplies from the school district, but this is just for extra. We have different businesses and vendors coming together at the fairgrounds on August the 5th to disperse a drive-through school supply. And it's going to be from 5:30 to 7 o'clock.
Okay, the following week, I think juvenile probation is gonna have theirs.
No, they canceled.
Oh, they
it,
canceled
And they're
it?
just going to join ours.
Okay, so you all joined. Okay, that makes sense. Anybody else? Okay, now we go to line item number 4, discuss, consider take action on minutes from the previous meeting.
Make a
Your
motion to
motion for
approve.
approval.
I'll second the motion.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Line item number 5, conduct public hearing, section 312 of the Texas Tax Code on the possible creation of a Jim Wells County reinvestment zone. Number 1.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is the mandatory public hearing that has to occur prior to the creation of the zone, which you'll see is the next item up, number 6. So Commissioner Garcia, if you could open the public hearing and allow time for anyone who wishes to comment to do so. And at the end of that period, close the hearing, then you can move on to number 6.
We'll open it's 10:04. We'll open the public hearing. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, how are you doing?
Yeah,
My name's Stephen Van Dyke with Cummings Westlake. I'm a tax consultant. We were here probably about a year ago, 10 months ago, to go over the project. I've got Tommy Browder. Just wanted to give you guys a quick overview of the project before you guys vote on the reinvestment zone and for the agreement. So I'll let Tommy talk. Say again? Stephen Van Dyke.
Good morning, everyone. So Stephen is passing out just a few slides we prepared as some background to talk about our Talitha Energy project. I'll go quickly through it here, and then I'm happy to answer any questions. My name is Tommy Browder. I work for
okay,
Advanced.
are we on the same line item? This is for the Talitha,
Same.
Energy,
yeah, because there's a public hearing also for this,
Okay, well, we can talk now or we can talk later, whatever you guys would prefer.
What do you think, Michael? We go ahead and let him discuss the item?
we're in the reinvestment zone, Michael.
Okay, well, do you want to, is there anyone else there to speak on at the public hearing portion?
No, sir.
No.
Okay, well then, I guess you can go ahead and conclude the public hearing, move on to item number 6, and then let these gentlemen give their presentation.
Okay.
Kevin, do you see any problem? Mr. O'Hanlon's on as well. Kevin, do you see any problem with that?
No, sir.
Okay, let's go ahead and do it that way then, Commissioner.
Okay, we'll close the public hearing on line item number 5. Line item number 6.
10:06. Closing 10:06.
At 10:06, yeah, we closed line item on 10:06. Okay, line item number 6, discuss, consider, take action to approve the creation of Jim Wells County Reinvestment Zone number 1. Okay, now I guess, okay, that would be all.
It is, and we can just do a brief overview of what the project is, where it is, kind of construction timeline, or if you guys are up on it, we can move on to the reinvestment zone, whatever you guys prefer.
Okay.
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 Yeah, so I'll to keep it brief here, I'll jump straight to the, well, let me just first say, I'm with Advanced Power. My name is Tommy Browder. And the Talitha project is a 130 megawatt solar project with a 60 megawatt BESS attached to it. So Advanced Power is the developer and owner of this project. Our background is we do development of projects, we do financing, and then we manage projects on a long-term basis as an asset manager. So if you kind of just fast forward all the way to what's shown as page 10 in the presentation we shared with you there, you can see an outline of the project area. So it is just to the southwest of Orange Grove, just to the west of State Highway 359 at the intersection of County Road 305 and 308. As I mentioned, it's about 130 megawatts AC on the solar portion of the project, and about 60 megawatts on the battery storage portion of the project. And this is the area shown on the slide where we're planning to construct the facilities, and which fits within the proposed reinvestment zone. So we're aiming to start construction early next year and have the plant operational by the summer of 2024. I think those are the main points. We're connecting to South Texas Electric Cooperative, or STEC, substation there. It's the Orange Grove substation. And then if you fast forward to page 12, in terms of the development of the project, We are now kind of, in the midst of summer 2022, and we're wrapping up our efforts here on a Chapter 312 agreement, as well as other tax agreements we're working on. And once we get through these development milestones, we'll kick off our financing process. And then, as I mentioned, endeavor to start construction early next year and have the plant operational in 2024.
Is this South Texas Electric Co-op, is this part of Nueces Electric Co-op?
I
Is
don't
that
know the
the-
relationship between the two. The transmission service provider for the project is South Texas Electric Cooperative. I don't know if the two have a relationship or not.
They have a, right there on the corner, right?
Yeah, yeah, I don't know, I don't know who they are, actually, but they're gonna be the providers, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions, commissioners?
Questions, yeah.
Yeah, I got a question. So how does this work? You guys come in here, you ask for tax abatement, right? How much is that, the abatement gonna be? And for how long?
We're not on that portion
We're not on that
just
yet.
yet, but we do have those numbers. We do have those numbers, Commissioner, and it's just briefly, we'll get to that on number 8. But briefly, it is about a 75% abatement. However, in exchange, we are getting a payment in lieu of taxes. It's called a pilot payment. And you'll see that over the 10-year period, it will equal to the amount abated.
Michael, I'm sorry, can we go to line item number 8 and then come back?
Why don't we take take care of this first? This is just the creation of the zone. In other words, approval of the map.
Okay.
Can we get a vote on that? And then we'll have the next public hearing, and then we can go on to the questions Commissioner Huicho has.
Okay,
Yeah, go ahead and make a motion to accept item number 7.
And I'll second the motion.
there's a motion and a second, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes.
Okay, now that the zone has been created, we have an application from Talitha to actually have an agreement with the county. So now we have to have a public hearing on that. So Commissioner, if you could open that hearing and let's see if there's any public comment, and then we can move
7.
on.
Conduct public hearing concerning the possibility of adopting a tax abatement agreement between Jim Wells County, Texas and Teleja Energy Project LLC, code number chapter 312.
Aye.
Okay, it's 10:12. Thank you, Margie. We'll open the public hearing. We'll wait a few minutes, I guess. Okay, now, I don't think there's anybody in the audience or anywhere, so it's 10:13. We'll close the public hearing and go to line item number 8. Discuss, consider, and take action to approve the tax abatement agreement between Jim Wells County, Texas, Teleja Energy Project, Prudence to Texas code number 312. Okay, this is where you come in, Michael, to explain the.
Okay, well, and I think I could, but I would defer to the guys that know it better, which are Stephen and Mr. Brown there in the courtroom. Are they still there?
We are.
Okay, so the question was, how much is the abatement? And if you could explain how the pilot payment program works to kind of compensate the county for what they're giving up in the abatement.
Sure. So abatements up until about 5 years ago were percentage abatements, meaning you get 75% off or whatever the agreed upon percentage is. And then they've moved to pilot payments because the pilot payment will come in outside it won't mess with your effective tax rate. So it'll come in on the outside. So counties are preferring to do it that way. So what we did is we estimated what a 75% abatement would be. We had had the estimated value, 75% abatement, took all those values, added them up, and we got a number. And then we divided that by 10 for 10 years, and then divided it by the megawatts, because that's how many megawatts there are. So there's $1 per megawatt, which, Kevin, is it 700?
675, I believe.
75. I've done like 15 of these in the last 2 weeks, so all the numbers are in my head.
So the
So-
megawatts is projected or that's based on what?
No,
The
that's,
megawatts, it will be the 131 megawatts for the solar, so 131 times 670, or actually the
That's right,
162.
131, that's right.
But it includes the,
Plus the 61 for the BES.
yeah, so
190.
yeah, so 190 times this 675, which I don't have that number in front of me. Yeah, that,
I do. So basically, there's a couple of things that kind of go into this set of calculations. First of all, let me step back for a second and talk about county tax compression. That is that when as of 4 years ago, or almost 4 years ago, not quite yet, they put in this local tax compression thing at the Texas legislature to basically say that if you had significant new value in your county on your tax rolls, then you could get a couple of percent of it, but then the rest of it would have to go to tax rate reduction. So this is a fairly substantial project. And if that went on without a tax abatement, then what would happen would be most of the value would be result in a tax rate reduction and no net revenues to the county. By doing it this way, we're going to grant 100% abatement for the period of time. I'll get back to how that period of time in a minute. And then they're going to pay a pilot payment in lieu of taxation of $675 per megawatt of either storage, the storage capacity or generating capacity, or both, which gets placed on the property. That ends up being about a 75% tax abatement is in terms of the mathematics. The abatement would start when essentially under the terms of the agreement, they have to give us notice when they're ready, when they're almost done, and it begins the first year after they achieve production on the property, after their notification, which they're telling us would be what they're going to construct it in, if all goes well, calendar 23. It would all be, the value would be on the tax rolls of on January 1, 2024, and would be taxable that year. So that's
a year later, Kevin.
Huh?
They plan on being COD in 24, so it'll come on 25.
It would come on in 25. I'm sorry. If it gets, that's in the agreement. You just said, I thought you just said that they're going to build it next year.
Summer 23, you said summer.
To start. Yeah, start in 23, but online is
They'll
24.
finish 24.
Okay, it's going to take more than the crossover of the year to finish. All right, so that would be 25. The abatement begins after they're done. It runs for 10 years, and you get the pilot payments, and they don't pay additional taxes. That's the deal. Couple of things that need to be stated with respect to solar. Solar is the only thing, the only industrial installation that has its depreciation set forth in law. Normally, appraisal districts are simply instructed directly by the Constitution that they have to value at fair market value for every year. Obviously, the depreciation is a part of that valuation process, and it's under law open-ended. It is not open-ended with solar. For whatever reasons, the Texas legislature adopted a rule that said for solar installations, beginning on year one, they're taxed at 100% of the fair market value, which is essentially the cost at the point of installation, or not the value at the point of installation. And then it has to, over the following 10 years, depreciate down to 20% of the original investment over that 10-year period, or the original value over that 10-year period. So we could be pretty confident with respect to knowing what the effects of depreciation are. So you're trading a little bit back and forth on this, which is the pilot payment is constant over 10 years. If it was taxable, you would have this declining value, which means that you would have reduced revenues rather than steady revenues over the period. So this kind of normalizes the distribution of that and provides that you don't have to get the local compression when you do that. The funds that you get from the pilot payments are not subject to the law on compression and would be considered general revenue of the county and available for any lawful purposes that the commissioners may determine is appropriate.
Did this go through our appraiser district, Michael?
Mr. Vela's aware of it. I don't know what you mean by go through. What do you mean?
Did he have any questions or?
His main concern was that they not, I forget, there was another project where they ended up either leasing out the individual panels to individuals to try to do some other type of tax avoidance. I spoke to the Talitha folks, and they said that they did not have any intention to do that. I don't know if they can go on record and say that that is still the case. But that was the only concern that Sydney had. As you heard Mr. O'Hanlon say, the depreciation is set by law. So whenever the final amount is of the cost of construction and installation of the facility, that's your starting point. And it will have to depreciate according to the depreciation schedule set by statute. So that part is already done for the appraisal district, essentially. The only other issue was this, I don't know how to describe it, kind of subletting of the individual solar panels to individual people for some kind of, there may be another program, but I was told that that is not their intention. They intend to stay the owners of this project through the course.
Yeah. So this will keep its value and depreciate over 10 years? Is that's what it is?
At the end of the 10th year, it's down to 20% of its value.
Okay.
Okay.
Go hold there into perpetuity.
And then it stays. At that value.
Right. But because it depreciates at this odd, it doesn't depreciate at a constant rate. Our taxes would be larger at the beginning, and then they would go down to a lot less. So what they've done is they've added all 10 years worth of taxes and divided by 10 so that they can get a constant average. So the original number, for example, that I had with the original ballpark estimates, the county would be receiving $107,272 in pilot payments each year. That's going to be close, but I think the numbers have been tweaked here. We're getting 675 per megawatt. So that number may change a little bit. I don't know if Steve, do you have the updated pilot amount?
Yeah, if the total were 192 megawatts, meaning the 131 for the solar and the 61 for the battery storage, the total would be like almost 130,000. It's like 129,600.
Okay, and that would be over the course of the 10 years, correct?
Every year for 10 years, correct.
Okay. And basically, commissioners, what that number represents is 1/10 of the amount of the abatement. So in other words, the total amount of the abatements being divided by 10 so that we can get a constant annual payment that will eventually at the end of the 10th year equal up to the amount of the abatement.
You know, that's what I wanted to know, more or less what we realized, so,
Perfect. Yeah. Let us know if you have any other questions.
okay.
Michael, and you were saying earlier about them passing them over to individuals so that way they avoid the
Yeah.
tax purpose or whatever.
I don't think it's.
What guarantee do we have that that's not gonna
It's
happen?
not, in their case, it's not, they're not doing it that way.
Is that correct? Can you ask them?
Yeah, that's not contemplated in this scenario.
It's gonna keep its value and depreciate over 10 years, is what it does. What they're talking about is like, you get individual owners and then.
Oh, on people's homes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, yeah,
This is industrial utility size.
Outside of the 10-year period, what kind of all bets are off on electric power, if you will, in the state of Texas. This morning they had announcement that ERCOT said that they were might have to do rolling blackouts, brownouts this afternoon. Those kinds of situation makes the cost of power go up, which makes the value of the installation more over time. Because it's the supply and demand with respect to kind of basic economic issues. So we will have to see in the future. There are factors which would tend to make electric prices go up, which is increased consumption. There are factors which make the value of the installation go down, which is and quite frankly, in the solar industry, as with the wind industry, we've made a tremendous amount. If you think this is a 10-year agreement, there have been an enormous amount of developments in the construction and deployment and cost of renewable installations over that 10-year period. As we've done more of it, prices have tended to come down. And that makes the cost of installation cheaper. That being said, as in a solar, it's mostly a passive enterprise. So an installed, even if it's not an installed facility, even if it's not quite as efficient as maybe a new one that's built 8 years from now, it's still going to be generating power and it's paid for. So it certainly has an asset value that we'll have to take into consideration. One other thing I want to add, which is there's a little pot of gold at the end of the rainbow on this, both for you and every other political subdivision. This piece of property is ag value at the current period of time. Once they build the plant on it, they're going to convert this acreage from ag value to industrial, which changes the use of land, which causes them to lose their agricultural exemption on these acres. When that happens, there's a procedure called a rollback, tax rollback procedure, and you are entitled to receive, not only you, the Commissioners Court, but every other taxing jurisdiction that levies taxes on that piece of property is entitled to what they call rollback collection, which is the difference for the 3 years prior to the conversion, the difference between fair market value and agricultural value. It had previously been taxed in agriculture, which is substantial. I don't know what agricultural land is worth, is selling for out there. It doesn't sell a lot in that part of the the world, but and that's payable as soon as they convert the property. The appraisal district's required to do that. That is not a function of this agreement directly. It's indirectly a function of this agreement in that if we didn't have the agreement, they wouldn't do the conversion. If they didn't do the conversion, you wouldn't get the rollback taxes. So it's indirectly, but it's not a function of Chapter 312. It's a function of the other provisions in the tax code. But that's a little bit of incremental extra revenue for the county as well, and it's upfront.
Commissioners, any questions? Any more questions? Actually, I think it'd be good for Jim Wells County. You know, it's something that we're gonna realize of 130,000, more or less.
Plus the taxes on the property.
Plus, yeah, so I think it's a win-win, and I think it's good for Jim Wells County. So at this time, I'd like to,
Make a motion to approve the tax abatement agreement between Jim Wells County and Talitha Energy Project.
I second it.
there's a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Congratulations, guys.
Congratulations, guys.
Look forward.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Mr. Guerra. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Judge.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Line item number 9. Discuss, consider, and take action. Oh, no, okay. Okay, number 9, discuss, consider, and take action on budget amendment by Sylvia Ramirez, Safety Department, to transfer $725.77 from line item 12567-573 equipment to line item 12567-575 furniture and equipment.
Commissioners, I spoke with Mr. Gomez and with Cindy last week. Neither one of them were able to be here this morning. However, they did advise that this item and all others, this item has been reviewed, the money is there, and they recommend approval.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Line item number 10, discuss, consider, take action on budget amendment request by JP Richard De Leon to transfer $2,000 from line item number 12-451-225 travel to line item 12-451-310 office supplies.
Commissioners, the auditor's office has reviewed Judge De Leon's request and confirmed that the funds are available, and they recommend approval of the budget amendment.
Make a motion to accept item number 10 is presented.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Line item number 11. Discuss, consider, take action on budget amendment request by Mary Lozano's to transfer $30 from line item 12-499-571 new equipment to line item 12-499-462 equipment rental.
Commissioners, the auditor's office has reviewed Ms. Lozano's request, confirmed that the funds are there, and they recommend approval of the budget amendment.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Line item number 12, discuss, consider, take action. Budget amendment request by Commissioner Huicho Gonzalez to transfer $10,000 from line item 24-624-356 repair materials cold mix to line item 24-624-330 gas, oil, and lubricants, 10,000 from 24-624-356 repair materials Kalishi to line item 24,624, 330, gas, oil, and lubricants. $4,000 from 24,624, 580, building improvements, to line item 24,624, 427. Conference and association, $9,000 from line item 24,624, 486.15. Contract labor to line item 24,624, 453, repair of equipment. And $1,000 from 24,624, 575, furniture and fixtures to line item 24,624, 499, miscellaneous.
Commissioners, the auditor's office has reviewed Commissioner Gonzalez's request, confirmed that the funds are available, and they are recommending approval of the budget amendment.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. Line item 13, discuss, consider, take action to open seal bids for project proposal, re-roof main courthouse tile roof. I think we have one bid from Juan Sembrano. Okay. The total price is $285,575.55. Okay. Anticipated start date July 5th. It's already passed, but anyway.
What exactly are they gonna do, Chorcia?
Well, they're gonna re-roof. Okay, remove existing tile. Secure ground level, extended forklifts, remove birch stuff, eaves, trim around the entire eaves, you know, it's, okay. They're gonna have to clean and replace,
And use that.
yeah, they're gonna have to clean it and reuse it, you know.
They'll be using the same
Yeah, so.
historical.
Because
Okay.
under the
Spanish
historical, so it's gonna detail a lot of
Yeah.
labor, intense labor.
It's the dome part, right?
Yeah.
All that area.
The rest.
It's basically the original portion of the courthouse.
Yeah.
With, because both wings have already been addressed, the
Yeah.
east and the west. I was wondering, would it be cheaper if you use that new type of tile? Like, yeah, I think it's like a synthetic type that's lighter. One of the issues was the weight of those. But then again, it may be cheaper to recycle the same ones. I don't know. I just at one point, I know that the bank on Texas Boulevard, that one that it almost looks like a home, that they use that kind of synthetic tile. It looks just like the old type, but it's a lot lighter, and it takes a lot of the weight off of the roof structure.
Yeah, they.
Or maybe we can, I mean,
Well, but
Unless we have to keep the old tile to you know.
isn't that,
for-
the historical committee would
but
allow that?
yeah, for the historical, we have to keep the same, but are we ever really gonna get any
Because
money?
that'll last forever. Look, it's 110 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a decision. I guess we could always,
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, doing the recycling and stuff like that, that's no big deal. It's, you know, it's, I wouldn't get up there for that much money, but you're not gonna get me up there for that. I mean, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
okay. And also, they're also going to use some metal, metal for the eaves, some of that metal,
does it include any cost for cleaning up the dome?
Yes, right? It's cleaning it up.
Yeah,
It said removing and cleaning up.
Okay,
all tile will be
All
power
equipment.
washed and cleaned. You know, everything has to be
Well, they
saved.
did a real good job on this other
I'll
one.
tell you
didn't they,
what,
for this one?
it's just
Did a real good
working
job on
up
that
there on the dome, it's
It's a job.
yeah, it's a job in itself, you know, and
Yeah.
then having to remove it, power wash it and reinstall it and I guess redo the eaves, you know, so. But there's a motion and is there a second?
I made the second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
All right.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, I'll tell you what, it really needs it, you know, the roof. Okay, line item number 14.
Checkbook ready.
Okay, discuss, consider, take action on bids received for County Road 269, 271, and House Avenue in
272,
Precinct 3.
372.
Okay, 372. Did I say, what did I say?
271.
Okay. Anyway, it's a long day. It's a long day.
It's still young. Early.
We got one bid from Weaver. I'm not an expert at figuring this out. Anyway. J. Carroll Weaver Incorporated, Sinton, Texas. Oh, okay. Yeah, the bid came in at, okay, $5.45 per square yard, 104,640.
How long is it?
It's even more expensive than the other one, right?
How many miles?
1.8.
1.8?
545
It's not
per
gonna
square
get any
yard.
cheaper.
Yeah.
It's not gonna get cheap.
The other one was cheaper.
That's a single.
The other one was cheaper.
The other one was 88 for
Did he,
double.
but did he bid again?
Yeah, but it was
How
a
much-
different road, though. It was,
Oh.
West Lane.
yeah.
What say
Okay,
you,
so,
Renee? What say you, Renee?
well, the bid was $5.45 per square yard, $104,640. And it'd be up to you, Commissioner, if you want to accept it or not. You know, you can get with them and see.
I don't see how it's not worth it because we spent, what it was $60-some thousand 3 years ago on 3 miles and we did the work ourselves.
You know,
What was that, 1.8 miles?
it's almost 2 miles, yeah.
Yeah, so 2 miles, so.
Yeah.
It's almost 2 miles.
As much as the-
Well, you know,
Can't wait forever.
I went, you know, we did seal coating about 2
You're not
years
gonna get
ago.
any cheaper, I
And
don't
it
think,
was
you know.
like $2.12, but, so prices have gone up.
They have
And
The fuel's driving everything.
the oil,
It's
everything. Yeah.
so anyway, it's, that's what it is what it is, and you have the option to accept it or reject it. So you don't have to make your decision right now. You can contact them and, you know. Michael, you don't have to make a decision right this here.
Actually, say,
well, we've got if she doesn't, then if she does decide to go forward, we'd have to wait till the next meeting.
Yeah. Okay, do you want to table it to the next meeting or
I
you just don't want to go with it?
Or you want to go with it?
might go with it. This is the lake.
Okay. Okay,
you've
so,
done some work for you, no, Mr. Garcia?
okay, we'll,
Mr. Garcia,
oh.
you've done some work for you before, right, Weaver?
Yeah, they're a top company. There's nothing wrong with the company. I think they do great work. Let's put it that way. But today's prices, I mean, you're looking at almost 50%,
Even if you do it yourself,
100%.
it's expensive, the oil.
But
and
think
the-
about it.
But
Think about it. How long ago was it that we were there and this was higher? So it just went up this much in that little time.
Plus,
So it's gonna
now
keep
they're
going up.
taking longer also to deliver the rock.
so anyway, I think, you want to accept it?
Yeah, I would accept
Okay,
it. Get it done.
Make the motion.
okay,
I make a motion to accept.
I'll second it.
okay. There's a motion to accept the bid. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
All right.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes, so I'm gonna put this, you can contact them and they'll set up a date when to do it. Okay. I think you'll be happy with their work. It's a little pricey, but I think they do quality work. Okay, line item number 15, discuss, consider, take action on certifying funds on county auditor, by county auditor for road and bridge number 3, Fund 23, in the amount of $94,560.30. Certified funds in Fund 23 to be used for equipment.
Commissioners, I met with the auditor's office by phone last week, and the county auditor, Noe Gomez, has asked me to read the following. Pursuant to local government code 111.0108, I hereby certify that Jim Wells County has received $94,560.30 in the Road and Bridge number 3 fund, Fund 23, from sale of assets available for expenditure. This road and bridge funds are for expenditures to be incurred by the Road and Bridge number 3 fund, number 23, and that such proceeds are available for appropriate expenditures. The certification allows the addition of these funds to the 2022 budget as an amendment. Since this expenditure will be funded and paid from Road and Bridge number 3 fund, I hereby request the following budget amendments to the 2022 Jim Wells County budget. And you'll see the addition in Fund number 23 under line item equipment, 623-573.00, $94,560.30. Signed, Noe Gomez, Jim Wells County Auditor.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion to
I'll
approve.
second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay. Line item 16, presentation from Coastal Bend Council of Government, Teresa Finch, Director of Environmental Planning on up to you plus project. That's up to you. There you go.
She there?
Good morning, Commissioners. How are you all today? I would like to introduce Ms. Teresa Finch, who's with the Coastal Bend Council of Governments. She is the Director of Environmental Planning. And in keeping with Jim Wells County's interests and consideration of addressing issues in our rural areas regarding illegal dumping, the Coastal Bend's Bays and Estuaries Program, Coastal Bend Council of Governments, and the Nueces River Authority have partnered to provide a project, the Up to You Plus program that's going to help Jim Wells County in continuing to address the illegal dumping issues. And so I'm going to turn the presentation over to Ms. Teresa Finch.
Good morning. Let me first start by explaining what Up to You is without the plus. That was a program created in 2009 by the Nueces River Authority. And if you've ever floated the Nueces River, the Frio River, or any of the other rivers, you might have seen the bright yellow mesh bags that have the white logo that says Up to You on them. Since 2009, that program has expanded to include not only the rivers, creeks in the upper Central Texas area, but have found their ways along the Texas coast. So the bags have become very iconic, and we found that people across the state know what the bag is. They're actually onion bags that are great for holding your trash when you float the rivers or if you're at the beaches in our bays, because they're mesh and you can, the sand, the water, everything else falls out, and that's how you keep your trash with you. So the Up to You Plus is expanding that project by including our communities and litter, illegal dumping, and that sort of thing. So this year, 2002 through 2024, it's actually a 3-year project. It's an EPA trash-free waters project that Coastal Bend Bays and Estuaries program is the principal on, with Nueces River Authority and the Coastal Bend Council of Governments being sub-awardees for this project. So we're all partnered together, and our focus is litter, illegal dumping, and community cleanups mainly for our rural areas. We really want to target the rural areas that are underserved when it comes to solid waste removal and that sort of thing. So it encompasses not just the coast, it is all of the Coastal Bend Council of Governments area, with the exception of an additional county that is also a part of the Coastal Bend Bays and Estuaries program, just outside of our COG region. So what we would like to do is partner with our cities and counties, the rural areas, the colonias, that sort of thing. We're not looking for the Alice, the Beeville, the Kingsville, the Corpus, Portland. We want the smaller rural communities that don't get to take part in a lot of projects. So we're looking at Fremont, Benbolt, San Diego, Ricardo Rivera, Sarita, Bishop, that sort of demographic and population size. So we want to do, it's a 2-part program. We would do an illegal dump site cleanup, and then we would leave a tire trailer, a metals roll-off, a 30-yard roll-off for metal collection, and a 30-yard roll-off for bulk. So household things like furniture, mattresses, old toys, basically anything that is not municipal. So not your household trash, no chemicals. Unfortunately, that's very, very expensive. And the whole state really is trying to figure out a way to dispose of the household hazardous waste. But we would collect tires, we would recycle the metals, and then we would take and haul off the bulk waste. So for a 10-day period, those 3 metals, bulk waste, and tire trailer would all sit in a location for the residents to bring their materials free of charge, and disposal, that's on us. It's not something that the communities are going to have to be responsible for, the county, that sort of thing. We will also provide for personnel to be with the roll-offs during that 10-day period. So we're not asking for staff from the cities and the counties to monitor. We will have that, take care of that. Some of our locations are going to have, for example, Bishop, it'll be at a city facility, so they will have personnel on site. Some of our communities are really wanting to keep it in a secure location, because we did want to have it out where the public can bring it without feeling, that for some reason they're being watched or judged. But for safety reasons, if you have a yard that would be better. So that is what the project is. And we are making the rounds to all of our communities, trying to introduce this project. First cleanup is set for September 24th, and then October is when we start the big 10-day projects, and we will cycle through that. So the communities that are chosen, you get 2. You get a fall and a summer cleanup for your communities. So does anybody have any questions?
And so if the trailer or the dumpster, if they get full,
Then we pull it and dump it and bring it back.
we contact y'all and let y'all know.
Right,
And how long would you have these out there?
And
for
then-
10 days.
10 days?
Yes. So the illegal dump site cleanups, they're going to be separate. They don't have to necessarily be right where we pick a community at that time. That's a 1-day we get out there, we clean it up, and that's taken care of. Then the 10-day, that's the community where they can come in and drop what they have. Another thing that we are looking at is providing, for those that show up to dispose during that 10-day period, giving them a token or a card for one free dump at either their collection station or the landfills, also free of charge. So I'm in talks with our municipal, basically our local, so Alice, Kingsville, Corpus Christi, those landfills to
When you
provide
say
that.
legal dump site, you're actually gonna go to anywhere when there's a dumping, like on a creek site or whatever?
Yes, yes. So the first one is in Nueces County near Petronila. And we're working with the Nueces County Environmental Crimes Unit because they've got a large site that they've been monitoring. And so we're gonna work on that site for the illegal dumping. So then the next.
That's just a one-day deal, right? And then we'll just do
Correct. Yes,
the one's gonna be stationed at the
right.
location.
Yes, sir.
So I would like to point out that we are currently wrapping up our, as you recall, each precinct had an illegal tire dumping removal program that we finished up, and we're in the process of closing that grant out. So this is a great opportunity for the commissioners to continue these projects that you all have been working on so hard. And so.
Yes, it is. It's an awesome program, and I want to thank you so much for the last one we had in Fremont. It was great. We went to the school. We went.
Yes, as I was saying to Commissioner Garcia, y'all don't see me very often because either I'm in the office because my budget's small and I don't get to travel, or I'm in schools because I do a lot of school presentations throughout the region, and I have for a long time about litter, illegal dumping, why you should and shouldn't do certain activities, and then recycling. We talk a lot about recycling also.
And at the end of the day, it's all what it's all about. It's the education part of
Correct.
letting the people know where you can take it to, and
Right, and there'll be a big component of the education and outreach, and that's not my section. That will be on Coastal Bend Bays and also on the Nueces River Authority. Since this is their creation and their baby, they get to continue on with the up to you message. So that's their portion, is the education and outreach of it all, and I get to handle all the dirty stuff. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank y'all. Over the years, y'all have partnered with us on the med safes. There's one for the county. There's also one City of Alice at the police department. And there's one at the sheriff's department, and also the sidewalk butler program that we have to collect cigarette butt waste. That, believe it or not, those teeny tiny little butts, we've collected several hundred pounds since we implemented that program throughout the region. So thank y'all.
Thank you for the presentation. We can go to line item number 17. Consider take action to enter into a up to you plus dumpster program community agreement with the Coastal Bend Bay and Estradas Program, Coastal Bend Councils of Government, and Nueces River Authority, collectively known as Up to You Plus Project Team.
I'll make a motion to accept item number 17 is presented.
I second the motion.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you
I will
very
be contacting you each to discuss which communities and areas that we pick
Which of
for
the
them.
many you can post.
Yes.
It'll be starting in October, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We just don't have a date yet.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
But the 10-day cleanup starts September 24th?
No, that's an illegal dump.
Oh, that's later.
Yeah, the October is the big 10-day period. That's when that starts.
The resolution, we need to read it.
Yeah, okay, I'm running out of voice.
You need to read-
Okay, number 18. Discuss, consider, take actions to adopt resolution authorizing submission of the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery 2018 South Texas Flood Recovery Fund, administered through the Texas General Land Office for the County of Jim Wells.
The resolution of County of Jim Wells, Texas authorizing the submission of a community development block grant disaster recovery application to the Texas General Land Office and authorizing the county judge. Is this the one? This is not the one for,
This is 818. This is right there.
Good morning, Commissioners. Commissioner Gonzalez, this is Lauren Cargill with GrantWorks. I just wanted to let you know I'm here via Zoom if you have any questions for me regarding these items.
I thought it was a resolution for that, but it's, okay. I'm gonna start again. I
Yeah,
thought it was
it's
a
a resolution.
resolution for the up to you, but
No,
it's
no,
for
no,
the
we don't-
CDBGRG.
right.
A resolution of the County of Jim Wells, Texas, authorizing the submission of a community development block grant disaster recovery application to the Texas General Land Office and authorizing the county judge to act as the county's executive officer and authorized representative in all matters pertaining to the county's participation in the CDBDR program. Whereas the County of Jim Wells desires to develop a viable community, including decent housing and a suitable living environment, and expanding economic opportunities, principally for persons of low to moderate income. And whereas certain conditions exist related to CDBG-DR 2018 South Texas floods recovery funding and eligible federally declared disaster in 2018, which represent a threat to the public health, safety, and welfare, and whereas it is necessary and in the best interest of to apply for funding under the CDBG-DR program. Now therefore be it resolved by the County of Jim Wells, Texas, that a CDBG-DR application is hereby authorized to be filed with the Texas General Land Office for funding consideration under the CDBG-DR 2018 South Texas Floods Recovering Funding. That the application be for up to 1 million of grant funds to provide sewer system improvements. That the county judge is designated as the chief executive officer and authorized representative to act in all matters in connection with this application and participation in the CDBG-DR program. That the county judge and county auditor designated to oversee all grants activities so as to ensure there are no conflicts of interest. That all funds will be used in accordance with all applicable federal, state, local, and programmatic requirements, including but not limited to procurement, environmental review, labor standards, real property acquisition, and civil rights requirements. That contributing funds in the amount of up to 10,000 in cash in kind force account are committed by the Jim Wells County towards application activities.
So this applies for what area? It's the Jim Wells County,
Yes, it's Jim Wells County.
so we can,
Sorry, Commissioner. I was just gonna jump in really quickly. Good morning, Commissioners and Judge. I'm Lauren Cargill. I'm the lead application writer on this application. So this particular project is going to be targeted for the Rancho Alegre CDP area. We're going to do manhole rehabilitation throughout the CDP because they meet LMI. And as you know, they are already in there for a GLO project working on sewer lines. And so the engineers let me know that there's a huge need to get a lot of those manholes raised up, to kind of help alleviate some of the flooding and get them in better condition.
I thought it was for the whole county of Jim Wells.
So Jim Wells is applying for the funding, but based on the eligibility for this particular application, you need to meet LMI in order to apply for this. And you also have to, there's a factor that GLO incorporates that's cost per beneficiaries. And so if you do something that's more target area and have a low amount of beneficiaries, you don't score very high. And so that was something that we took into consideration when we were discussing project options. Just with the time frame, we didn't have enough time to survey the entire county, countywide, Jim Wells doesn't meet LMI. So we had to kind of look at more of a target area or a CDP area that would meet LMI without having to go through the survey process or risk having a low amount of beneficiaries.
You didn't have enough time?
Yes, because the application is due this week.
This one's due August 1st.
Oh, August 1st.
Yes, see if you're thinking of Colonia, that one's due on the 15th that we're also working on.
But it's a South Texas Floods Recovery Funding, and we all have funding, flooding issues. So why couldn't we be
Because
included?
what she's saying is, if you target an area, it has to be a large amount of beneficiaries, and they all have to be low to moderate income.
We all have that. We all have low to moderate income.
Okay, and that area that you were wanting to, behind, over there by the Martinez, it's a small area, like there's not a lot of people in that area.
But there's people.
But there's not that many beneficiaries, that's what she's saying.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So the way that unfortunately, the GLO has this scoring component that's cost per Benny. So what that means is you want to try to maximize the largest number of benefit area possible. So, you take your million and you divide it by the number of beneficiaries, and you can score anywhere from 20 points to 0. And so based off of Rancho Alegre's CDP population, we're looking at about 800. And so that's going to put us somewhere in the 10 to 14 point score range. If we go anything lower, where we were looking at for the specific drainage areas, we were only probably looking at anywhere from 20 to 50 beneficiaries. There wasn't a huge area there. And the engineers were even concerned that it would be smaller because of the way that the water would drain in different directions. And so that would have potentially scored Jim Wells County at, anywhere from 0 to 4 points probably. And unfortunately, just based on the way the GLO has set up this particular fund, they have, we have 2018, and then we have 2019, and Jim Wells is only eligible for 2018. And it's the lowest, unfortunately, the lowest funding category possible, which is only $3.9 million. So we're only looking at a potential of up to 4 applicants getting funded, which is really hard, when we're trying to get these projects done, because I know they're very much needed. So we were really on this one just trying to maximize the score and trying to get, the best score possible for Jim Wells County, in hopes that we could kind of get you guys up there as far as scoring goes to get funded.
So you already have the designated locations?
We went.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Locations.
Yes, sir. ICE went out there, we met, and Commissioner Gonzalez gave us 2 different project areas for potential projects that were drainage. And so we had ICE get out there as soon as possible, and they surveyed the area and determined a benefit area. And when we looked at the map, we kind of determined that the beneficiary amount was going to be very low, in comparison to other areas that we could have used just to get a higher cost per beneficiary score.
Lauren, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What Commissioner Gonzalez was that?
Me.
You went to my area to go check, but I wasn't there. Y'all went into my precinct to go check, and y'all made a decision based on there wasn't enough people there without me being there. Right?
The engineers were out there, sir, and I do have maps. I can show you exhibits. I can, send them to you if you'd like, to show you the areas that we were looking at.
But you don't know where the flooding problems were at.
No, sir, I personally didn't know.
Okay, thank you very much.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
This question is for Lauren. Lauren, on this 2018
Yes, ma'am.
grant, it's my understanding there was 3 or 4 counties that are eligible?
yes.
Yes, yeah, we're looking at Jim Wells, Hidalgo, Cameron County, Willacy County. Yes, ma'am.
So is this a competitive grant or Jim Wells County has a project
It's
included?
it's competitive. Yes, it gets scored. It's not a guaranteed application.
And the second question is, it's my understanding that you can submit up to 2 projects.
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
So how many are we submitting for Jim Wells County?
We're submitting one, and again, that's based on where we have to have surveys completed for these projects. And, you know, we could submit these, but again, they weren't going to score very high if we did the smaller target area projects. There's still
Using
a little,
master plans that have been submitted in the past that have identified your low to moderate areas in Jim Wells County?
could you go further into depth on what you mean when you say master plans, ma'am?
I understand that there's some master plans that have been conducted, comprehensive master plans that have identified colonia areas and low to moderate areas. for
Yes,
Jim Wells.
ma'am. So that's what we use to determine CDP, but unfortunately these surveys, it's the census data that gets used. They're not, we can't get them populated from the census department. So that's something that our company GrantWorks takes care of. We have people go out and conduct household income surveys. And so that's how we make the determination for LMI in specific target areas for projects. We, unfortunately, we were kind of hired a little bit late on this project. And so we didn't have enough time. We have several other clients that have been surveyed out and stuff. And so we didn't have a time to survey a huge area for Jim Wells County. And so we started kind of looking at smaller areas, and the engineers and I looked at, the engineers determined the benefit area, and we saw the number of homes, we count households. And we kind of know just from past experience that you can typically take a house number and multiply it by 4, 4 to 5, and that'll be what you're looking at for your beneficiary number. And so I can share the maps with everyone. I can, via email of what the exhibits are prepared by the engineers. We just didn't think it was going to score very high based on what we've seen in previous funding with this particular scoring factor.
So just to be clear, you're not considering a second project?
At this time, we're not. If that's something that you would like to consider, I would just like to make it known that the county will have to conduct their own surveys, and they'll need to be completed no later than Friday, and we can have that application done. I can work with the engineers quickly to submit a second application if that's what's really needed. But I just want to be very transparent that it's not going to score very well. So there's a high likelihood that it will not get funded.
So you all would not be able to conduct the surveys?
GrantWorks will not be able to conduct them at this time. And that was something that I explained also with Commissioner Gonzalez, that we didn't have enough time. She said that the county would do the surveys, but we were trying to, again, just reduce the likelihood of not getting funded by selecting a larger target area.
Well, since this is only 4 counties that are eligible, I think this would be a great opportunity for the county, especially if they can submit at least 2 grants, to at least consider submitting the 2 grants. And just refresh my memory, commissioners, was GrantWorks hired, was approved to administer the application?
Remember, we just brought them on.
Okay,
last month.
so you all have been hired to administer this grant. Would that include conducting the surveys? If you were to consider submitting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. But as I said, we have several other clients, and just based on what I know, each client is also eligible for 2 applications. And so, even though there's only 4 counties, there's several smaller cities within that county. I can just giving you an idea, myself alone as an individual writer, I'm writing 8 applications for this particular, application to the GLO. And so, it might just be 4 counties, but each county has individual cities that are applying, and each of those cities are eligible for 2 applications as well. So it is competitive funding, and we're going up against several other applicants. But ultimately, I work for the county. So if, the county commissioners wish that they would like to submit a second application, we can work very hard to make that happen. But again, I just want to be very clear that right now, GrantWorks, our survey capacity, we have several other surveys going on, and we just, it'll be very hard for us to get any more boots on the ground. But if the county is willing to conduct those surveys themselves, we will have them trained, and then we will also do all the tabulations and everything for them.
We've done a lot of our.
I mean, I just think that this is a good opportunity. It's, I mean, it is competitive, commissioners. However, there's 4 counties that are being considered. Now, are those 4 counties each submitting their 2 applications?
So it's each county, any city, counties are eligible, and then any city within the county is eligible. So it's not just 4 counties, it's every city within the county. So for example, you know, you have within, let's see, I'm thinking Willacy County, right?
Yeah, Hidalgo, Jim Wells County, and
Cameron and Willacy.
Willacy and Cameron are the counties. Well, I mean, if there is an opportunity, and in the spirit of transparency, I think the county commissioners should be aware that they do have an opportunity to at least be considered for that second application, and perhaps using the master plans that have been created for Jim Wells County and looking at those. And I know that the census are provided, so perhaps, I mean, just wanting to bring that up.
When you say, sorry, ma'am, when you say master plans, do you mean surveys, masters? I'm not sure what you mean when you say that.
There were some master plans that were conducted that identify your low to moderate areas, your colonia areas. Your colonia areas include some of those census data that you're looking at that would help in the competitive scoring.
Yes, ma'am, correct. But we, as a grant administration firm, we don't have access to those individual surveys that were conducted by the census. We have to do our own. We don't have access to the individual surveys that are conducted to calculate LMISD information. That's why when we have a target area, GrantWorks typically has a beneficiary team that will conduct individual household income surveys. And then we have a team, you know, who does the tabulations and everything to determine LMI in that area.
But you do have a team that could conduct these surveys, correct?
Yes, we do. But again, like I said, we're at capacity right now. We're very flooded with other surveys. And so I was, you know, I spoke with Commissioner Gonzalez, and I just let her know, if I'm being completely honest, we just didn't want to submit a survey. We didn't want to submit an application that we didn't see a high likelihood of getting funded. And so I just wanted to be very clear about that. But again, I work for the county. So if the commissioners decide that they want to take the chance and submit a second application, absolutely, we can make that happen if they want to.
Okay, I understand. I just wanted to, like I said, in
you can
spirit of
have them-
transparency, bring
you
it
can
out
have
that
them-
Jim Wells County could conceivably submit 2 applications.
And you
Yes,
can
ma'am.
send
Yes.
in a survey, and maybe you want to help, and the
Well, I think they have a
secretaries-
team that would be able to do it.
She said they don't have enough, and they need it by Friday. It's not very hard. It's not, it just asks their name.
I just kind of wanted to put that out there, that this particular grant does allow for 2 applications.
They're saying they need the information by Friday.
Yes.
I'm not sure you need that by Friday. The application is due August. Is that
Yes,
correct?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But again, as I said, GrantWorks is a very large firm, and we have several other clients that are submitting applications for this. And we only have a specific department that calculates these. And so if, you know, we were given a firm deadline by when we need the survey, so our beneficiary team lead can calculate LMI using the surveys that are conducted by Jim Wells County.
So we can make a motion to
Submit for a
go ahead
second
and accept
application.
this by applying for a second.
Yes.
Yes, I can send a resolution over for a second application for drainage improvements, but my recommendation would be to make an amendment to this language to adopt 2 resolutions, submitting 2 applications to the 2018 South Texas Recovery Funding. And then if you approve, I will have that second resolution sent over within the next hour to be signed by the judge.
So make a motion to make a second resolution to have two applications?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you would just amend the agenda language and then you would approve the 2 resolutions for submission.
You're amending it to,
Because here it's only saying,
So I'd like to make a motion to amend the item on the agenda
to include
to
2.
include 2 resolutions with 2 applications for the county.
Yes, sir.
There's a motion in this, is there
I'll second the motion.
a second? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Can you email that to us, like ASAP, so we can read it today?
Yes, ma'am. I can send it over right now to your email, Commissioner. I'll work on it right now while we're on this meeting
Okay,
still.
all right. It's a very simple survey. So you could send Mandy and your other secretary's name.
Yes, sir. And again, while we can't get, necessarily our boots on the ground, we can train you on how to conduct those. So, we can provide as much assistance as we can, but we just unfortunately don't have enough people right now to get people out there this week.
Okay,
go
thank
ahead.
you. Is there anything else?
No, sir, that's all for me, unless anyone had any more questions for me.
Any questions, Commissioner? No. Okay, line item number 19. Discuss, consider, take actions to adopt citizen participation plan for Jim Wells County. I think we have a plan that's in Spanish and English, and we're gonna post it on the website, on our county website.
Yes, sir. So that one was for the Colonia application to TDA. And so we need a second one approved for GLO, since they're 2 different departments that we're submitting these applications to. And it's the exact same language. It's just this one is tailored to this particular funding category for the GLO.
Yes.
Yeah, this is it. They don't. You want to read it? It's in English and Spanish. Or we can just post it on our website.
Yes, sir. No, so it doesn't have to be read. I can briefly cover what's on it, but I'm sure y'all are super familiar with these. I know that y'all, pass these every time you have an application. It's just, stating you're going to abide by the public hearing, 3-day posting, that we're going to post the application. While TDA requires 5 days of a posting, this one's 14 days of a posting of application availability. And then also just stating that when you do have public hearings, you'll provide any accommodations for people who may need assistance with hearing or who may need a translator.
Any questions, Commissioners? We will post it on the website also for those that want to read it in Spanish.
Yes, yeah.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
There's a motion and
I'll second.
a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay. Okay, line item 20, discuss, consider, take action to adopt a federal procurement policy for Jim Wells County. I don't know. Do you know anything about it, Commissioners? I don't have anything on it. Do you, Marty?
Lauren, do you know about the federal procurement policy? Oh, they requested a procurement policy from.
Yes, ma'am. So this one, GLO requires that you have specific policies and procedures in place for procurement when it comes to handling federal grants. And so I had emailed Mr. Gomez about requesting a copy, and I hadn't heard back from him. So I would just ask that this would be tabled for now until I can speak with him a little further on those items.
Is there a motion to table?
I'll make a motion to table it.
I'll second the
There's
motion.
a motion to table. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion's tabled. Line item 21. Okay, discuss, consider, take action on contract, GLO contract, review bid, received and award contract, construction contract to Tom Oaks Construction in the amount of $518,051, pending GLO approval on the non-competitive procurement request.
This bid had come in at over 700,000 and we didn't have enough. So they trimmed some of the stuff, like using PVC instead of cement in some areas. And they trimmed it down enough to come down to 518 to fall within the budget.
So what kind of construction is this?
It's for the pond, for the drainage pond, retention pond on Johnson. And they'll put inlets and drainage all through, like from Gulf down Francis Street, Trevino Street.
There was only one bid.
Nobody else bid it, it was only one bid.
It's pending approval by GLO though. It's
Not even for water wells. I make a motion to approve.
there's a
second.
there's a motion and a second. Okay, this, for everybody to know, it's pending approval by GLO. So,
Competitive procurement request.
okay. Anyway, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Line item number 22, discuss, consider, take action on payrolls and bills as submitted by the county auditor with the exception of 52, 53, and 54. Anybody have any questions on the bills?
If nobody has any questions, I'd like to make a motion to accept item number 22 as presented.
A second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign.
And I have the resolution, the second resolution.
Oh, okay, go.
Yes,
go-
ma'am. And I'd just like to, they'll look very similar because they're also, it's for $1 million with a $10,000 match. However, on number 2, it'll just say drainage system improvement instead of sewer system. So one will be for sewer and one will be for drainage.
Okay, by the way, line item number 22 was approved. Okay, go ahead.
We're going back to the second resolution,
We're going back to 18.
number 18. A resolution of the County of Jimwales, Texas, authorizing the submission of a community development block grant disaster recovery application to the Texas General Land Office and authorizing the county judge to act as the county's executive officer and authorized representative in all matters pertaining to the county's participation in the CDBG-DR program. Whereas the County of Jimwales desires to develop a viable community, including decent housing and a suitable living environment and expanding economic opportunities principally for persons of low to moderate income, and whereas certain conditions exist related CDBG-DR 2018, South Texas Floods Recovering Funding, and eligible federally declared disaster in 2018. God, it went away. Hold on. It went away. That a CDBG-DR application is hereby authorized to be filed with the Texas General Land Office for funding consideration under the CDBG-DR 2018 South Texas Floods Recovery funding, that the application can be up to 1 million of grant funds to provide drainage system improvements project 2, that the county judge is designated as the chief executive officer and authorized representative to act in all matters in connection with this application and participation in the CDBG-DR program, that the county judge and county auditor designated to oversee all grant activities so as to ensure there are no conflicts of interest, that all funds will be used in accordance with all applicable federal, state, local, and programmatic requirements, including but not limited to procurement, environmental review, labor standards, real property acquisition, and civil rights requirements, that contributing funds in the amount of up to 10,000 in cash, in kind, or an account are committed by the Jim Wells County towards application activities. Make a motion to approve the second resolution.
There's a motion in the second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Wait a minute, that's not on the agenda, though.
But it was added to the, it was amended on the,
Yeah, but there was the
I
resolution.
think, I think your first vote was good enough, right? Because you said,
But it's because Weecho wanted to apply for another one, so she said we just needed to say,
all you had to do was read it, no, because it was already approved.
right, correct. That's what I meant. Yeah, don't, if you,
Yeah.
it said
Oh,
to,
yes, that's correct. They approved the first motion
yeah,
where we
Motion.
amended the language.
so we just added a second resolution to have two projects.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
right.
So- Okay,
You've already voted on it.
okay.
You
All
can't vote on, you can't call it by saying it's a second one. You're basically, it's all inclusive in the first one. Is that
Yes,
correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct. You're right there. Yeah,
Okay,
because, they were just reading it. You don't have to approve this one because it's not a separate item.
okay.
Okay,
Okay, guys, been a long meeting, so
make a motion to adjourn.
there's a motion to adjourn. In a second, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. 8 o'clock. We're